This is Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions with Alastair Lynch, Tom Rockliff and Dylan Leach.
I tell you what, you go away for a few weeks and everything changes completely. Football, it's all over the shop. It brings forward an excellent round 24. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ned's Unpopular Opinions. Dylan Leach back in the chair. The ratings should be good now. The listenership should be up. Time to have some professionalism back on this show. But a big thank you to everyone's former Supercoach captain, the Lion Port Adelaide superstar, the man who built the foundations at Alberton, Tom Rockliff. Thank you for keeping the chair warm for me, Tom.
No stress at all. The foundations are going well. Second on the ladder, chance to win the flag. The voice is back. I think I filled your shoes okay, Dylan. I've still got a bit of work to do before I get the hosting chair, but it's only a matter of a couple of months before the next footy season, so I'll probably slip straight into that one, I would have thought.
And we'll see what happens in the off-season trade period there, Tom. And, of course, the triple premiership player, the man himself, Alastair Lynch. How are you, Lynchy?
Very good deal. You're right. Ratings up, viewership up, everything's up. Now you're back.
Yeah.
Tommy actually did a good job. You had the great opportunity just to nail the dismount. And you couldn't talk.
No.
You slaughtered it at the end.
No.
So, good job.
Yes. No.
How'd your job go? Off to France, I hear?
France?
South France, very south of Paris, where the International Broadcast Centre was, but it was a fantastic experience. And, yes, what an amazing Olympic Games we saw, where it's just gold medals every day and some amazing stuff. And, of course, ray gun, which, was something to behold. But
do you know what that is, Lynchy?
I can't bring myself to watch it, though.
You can't bring yourself?
No, I can't. I can't watch it. I've read about it, but I cannot actually push play and watch it. No doubt, and I've heard this, no doubt it's a Kath and Kim skit that they're just pulling the piss out of it.
Well, yeah.
It was outstanding. But no, I can't watch it. I can't
even describe it to you. It's like Brownie on a mad Monday at the end of the day at the Down Under bar trying to dance, break dance on the poles and whatnot.
I saw the still photo of the sprinkler. Thought, no.
And the kangaroo. Don't forget the kangaroo move.
Didn't someone in the UFC do it after in a celebration, post-match celebration after she won? Yes. She's done the break dancing.
Yeah, there was a bit of that yesterday in Perth. So we should stress this week, it's a bit of a different setup. So I'm coming to you from WA. The boys, we're using the SEN studios this week because next week we move into our very flash new studios at Ned's HQ. So we're sort of all over the country today. But yes, the great thing about the games is everyone's going to talk about ray gun, despite the fact it was Australia's greatest ever gold medal haul at an Olympics. And I think Tasmania got more gold medals than India when you count Ariane Titmus. Now, surely, Lynchy, well, we'll stick to the games for the meantime. Yep. Surely, Lynchy, you've got Ariane Titmus. You've got to get her out of Hawthorn and into the Devils and sign her up as number one ticket holder.
What's she doing at Hawthorn?
She's a Mad Hawk.
Mad Hawk.
Mad Hawthorn supporter.
I have to chat to the old man about that. Can't have that. We both went to St Pat's College in Launceston. She should be passionate behind us, Tassie, surely.
Or maybe when she's retired from swimming, you could sign her up for the Tassie AFLW team. She could make a pivot.
Oh, absolutely. She's a great athlete. No, amazing athlete. And but no, we'll have a word to actually. I will chase that up. She'll be a Tassie member by the end of the week.
Oh, Tim Payne?
That's my challenge. Painey?
Is he on the bandwagon? He's a mad bomber.
Yeah, Painey.
Just relocated to Noosa, coaching the Strikers. I don't know if you'll get him back to...
Has he relocated to Noosa?
He's relocated to Noosa and he's coaching Adelaide. I don't think you'll get him back to Tassie.
I guarantee you'll be...
Tassie's fallen over before it gets off the ground.
I'm a bit worried about the stability of the Tassie Devils. It's all hanging on.
You've got 200,000 pain.
More people are dropping like flies.
Texting him now. Is he a member? He better be.
Hey, it's been a very interesting period in footy while I've been away. The top 8, I think, is set now. Would it be fair to say round 24? No, you don't.
No, it's not set.
You don't think it's set? I reckon it might just be set.
It's 8 spots up for grabs, I reckon. It's Carlton, St Kilda this weekend.
Sunday is going to be epic.
And Freo Port.
You've got potentially 3 games. All 3 games have an implication on how the 8 is actually set. But this weekend, I tell you what, the Brisbane Lions, did they not blow a huge chance to finish in top 4? That was an absolute banana peel.
The last 2 weeks. So,
yeah,
spoke about them against the Giants. There was game over. Had they kicked straight in that first quarter, let the Giants back in, and then belted Collingwood in the first quarter. Me and Lynchy were sitting in the car park down at the Gold Coast just after watching the Suns get their asses handed to them by the Demons. And the car park, for anyone that's ever tried to get out of that ground down there at Carrara, is horrific. There was about 4,000 people there, and it took us, an hour and a half to get out.
Yeah, so watch the first half in the car park.
And it was all over. Brisbane by how far, and then they stopped again, and Collingwood find a way to get up by a point, and they just can't execute. They had so many opportunities. To be a Lions fan, you can tell me what it is in a minute, but just some of the dumb things they do, like they had ample opportunities to seal that game. Joe Daniher, just do the simple things, buddy.
Yeah, and I can be critical of Joe. Joe's had a very good 2 years. Yeah, you know what it comes down to? I mean, I've still got Brisbane can win this. I think they're still at their best. Now they've got to be at their best. Their best is the best in the comp at the moment. So I think they can still win it. But it comes down to moments. We've seen it for years, realistically. And it's not just about missed shots. A lot of it's about missed shots. But just Zach Bailey.
Doesn't handball.
There was handballs over the top. There was handballs.
Missed that shot.
There's times where you just take your shot. You just got to take your shot. They haven't got that. And we've spoken about this during the year. That grit just to put a team away.
Yeah.
So you've got them on the canvas. Had Collingwood on the canvas. Had GWS on the canvas. So and you're having shots from 20 metres out, dead in front. Just ice the game. Put the game away. So and whether it's a defensive stoppage and you're on the wrong side of your opponent. So they're a good team, highly talented team, but they don't nail the moments. And if you're going to win flags, you've got to nail those moments. We saw it last year in the grand final. Side bottom from 55 nails the moment. De Goey running out of the centre takes the moment, converts. Brisbane aren't doing that. I mean, that was the frustrating thing, and that would be frustrating them as well. But but then there's those things that pop up, not passing the ball or not giving the handball or
That's what I reckon is going to cost them potentially another flag, is this selfishness. Not deliberately, I don't think. Like Joe's, I'm talking about the one where he's running, he goes to take the bounce and fumbles, kick it straight away over the top to Charlie, runs into an open goal. It's just those little things. I don't think they're doing them deliberately, but you've just got to sometimes that's what Hawthorn are doing really well at the moment. They're just giving it to someone in a better position, bringing their mate in the game and knock the goal over.
And the other thing, just before you say something there, remember even 10 years ago, Geelong, they went to the other extreme.
Yeah.
They were almost pulling the P155 out of the game by going backwards to give someone else the goal. Now, Brisbane aren't doing that. I mean, they're trying to kick the goals. They're trying to win the game almost off their own boot. That's what it feels like at times, rather than sharing and, bring someone else into it, which they need to do if they're going to get themselves out of this little hole over the last couple of weeks.
So Brisbane will most likely find themselves in the bottom 8, the bottom half of the 8, I should say. So they will be facing an elimination final in the first week of the finals unless something freakish happens and somehow West Coast beats Geelong at Geelong on Saturday. That's not going to happen. If you say Brisbane can win the flag from here, that's going to require a potential home final. They're going to have to get a game at home and then play 3 games on the road.
Yep.
How do you set yourself up for a final? Are they that kind of team that can actually do this kind of thing? So you've got to have that win at home and then you've got to go 3 on the road. What can make them the sort of team that could win what would be a phenomenal premiership if they were able to do that?
Yeah, and part of the case for Brisbane is who else is flying? I mean, we've seen throughout the season, the Swans 2/3 of the way through the season look unbeatable. I mean, but they've had their moments in recent weeks. Port Adelaide have been up and down, and they've got some issues. Now, Houston gone off half back. The Giants have had ups and downs. Geelong, at times, have been terrible. I mean, they've got some great players and they can do some amazing things, but there's so many teams. You know, a couple of weeks, you can win this. This is wide open.
You've only got to play the best 4 weeks of footy, and you've named those teams there. The Western Bulldogs, when they're good, they're as good as anyone, and then they come out and the Adelaide Crows blow them away. Hawthorn's best is as good as anyone, as Dills Richmond found out yesterday in the first quarter. Carlton, no one gave him a chance yesterday with a twos team that they pretty much sent over there, got the job done. They get a few back from injury. The funny thing is that if Fremantle sneak in, they can win it. Collingwood can't make finals now, but if they were in it, they could win it. So there's still 10 teams that potentially you could say could win the grand final. Like Carlton need to lose by 15 goals and Collingwood need to win by 15 goals, which is not going to happen. But it's as wide open season as we've ever seen.
And I think that's probably because the top couple of clubs just aren't the standouts.
Yeah.
Not the super team.
Tom, just to go back to your point, how there's 10 teams in it, I've noticed in my absence the talk of the top 10 / the wild card match / the, or to use a phrase from the games, the repechage. Does this qualify? Does these sorts of situations, how the 8 is shaping, does that make a more valid case to change the final series to this proposed?
Potentially. It's going to be a moneymaker for the AFL anyway you look at it, but it makes it near impossible for those teams to win the grand final, I would have thought. Like, I don't think the Western Bulldogs potentially win that grand final if they have to play a wild card as well. Maybe they do. Who knows? But you got to have to play an extra game of footy late in the year. We've seen like Carlton have their injury concerns. If you got someone like that on their knees, I don't think it's fair. But I don't see a way that the AFL's not going to bring it in. There's so much talk about it, and they're all for it by the sounds of it. So
I hope they don't do it. The reason being, and I mean, I get we want to keep the season as alive for as many clubs as possible, as long as we can. But if you're having on the wild card round, the rest of the teams are having the bye, as the situation now. You see the top team gets a win first week of the finals, has another week off, and then wins the prelim final. That means they're not going to want to have the bye before the grand final, which is what we've been talking about. And I'd love to see, because, again, the concussion, like Rankin on the weekend, he can't play next week.
No, that's right.
So if they bring in the wild card round, I can't see them ever having a bye before the grand final, because you miss too much footy as one of the top teams. So, I'd like to see it stay the way it is and flip the byes around.
There's nothing wrong with the top 8. I think it's really good. And it's prevalent this year because of how close it is. But in years gone by, there's been teams that have been on 9 wins or something, hasn't there, that have been sitting in 10th position or something like that. So you'd hate for them to then sneak into the finals and blow someone out that's had 13 wins for the season. They haven't earned the right, in my opinion, to go and play finals.
And just for getting the snout in the trough with a bit of extra cash, which is great for the game. I mean, everyone enjoys a bit of cash in the game, but I just think we've got to put the grand final up on a pedestal rather than the wild card round.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I think it's going to happen, guys. And some of the arguments that have been made about not having it is very similar to when the top 8 was brought in, which is now, we've had the top 8 for 30 years now, and we've had the current system for about 25 years. So,
well, let's see the prelim final when someone gets a head knock.
Well,
Lockie Neal wins the Brownlow and he's sitting up in Brisbane.
Yes, well, we've kept the receipts from what you've said during the year, Alastair, and we'll do an audit when it comes. Anything else you got out of the weekend?
Well, obviously the showdown again.
I was going to bring that up.
It should be a standalone, in my opinion. It's the best showpiece outside of finals. That was 2nd versus 15th, and it was on for young and old. Obviously, Houston's bump that attracted so much attention. Isaac Rankin, hopefully he's okay. I believe he is. He was up and about in the rooms after the game. I think Dan Houston may have played his last game for Port Adelaide, but that needs to be standalone. So I think we can talk about the showdown and how good it is still, and the massive showpiece.
I would put it out there that the showdown is hands down the greatest rivalry in Australian sport. It is as good as a rivalry as it got. And I know he didn't walk the walk, but even just Josh Richelli talking the talk in the lead up and doing the teeth thing, and just the sheer utter spite, and even the fact that the Houston incident happened. Yes, it was not great for Isaac Rankin, but it just reflects what this game is all about. And in rugby league world, they would be and they will be celebrating it in years to come. Like, this is going to be up there with...
This is Lynchy.
This is Lynchy, but this is going to be up there with the bounce from back in the day, or the Monfries bounce, I should say, or the Ramsgate. These games just bring up so much great storytelling and hype. And you are right. both showdowns need to be standalone every year. They need to be primetime Friday night or whatever, but that they are as big a clash, if not bigger than a Collingwood-Essendon, Collingwood-Carlton, Richmond-Carlton season opener like this. And the origin of that rivalry is so unique because, and you know this, Tom, because you built Port Adelaide's foundations, the Crows were literally established out of pure hatred for Port Adelaide in a courtroom.
It certainly was. And that's the thing, like that Houston's going to get his right whack, which 5 years ago is play on and no one even blinks an eye. But they're going to use that for promotion for the next 10, 15 years, but he's going to get suspended for probably 4 weeks for it.
Dan Houston's never going to struggle to get a cashy job every showdown time. He's set on the circuit forever. And
I'll just put it on the table as well, not to defend the action. He's one of the cleanest players and best players we've seen in the competition. And the choice to bump is obviously wrong. Had he wrapped an arm, but gee whiz, it was a clean hit, and he doesn't have that in his game normally. So
looked like there was Rankin was getting a bit of attention around the ground at different times, getting a bit of contact. But yeah, I think it has to go. It's just you look at it and go, oh yeah, you just can't do that. You just can't bump and someone have, whether he's hit his head or whatever.
Yeah,
he's been concussed, and he's going to spend 4+.
We'll find out. It's gone straight to the tribunal, but I should timestamp this. We are recording this on a Monday afternoon this week, so
it's 4 weeks, isn't it?
I think so. It can't be 8 like someone. I think David King said 8 weeks. If it's 8 weeks, we're gone as a game. 4 feels right. 6 is too many. It's not.
What was Rankin's suspension? He was 4
on Starcevich? 3. Yeah.
So that was off the ball.
Off the ball, and he did a bit of damage to his jaw, didn't he? This was in play, and this is a split-second decision.
So I don't see it as being worse.
Nah, but probably on par.
Yeah, I think it's a 4-weeker.
Hey, Tom, to stick with Port Adelaide, your former side, and of course where you built the foundations, the turnaround since that ugly day against Brisbane has been phenomenal, but I can't help it's incredibly on brand given that Kenny seems to perform at his absolute best as a coach when his back's against the wall and people are calling for his head to be chopped off. Maybe was that the loss Port Adelaide had to have?
Well, again, I heard some commentary around this is when premiership teams actually build and start to believe that they can actually do it. They're not winning and belting teams away, but they're winning tough and they're winning the right way, where once it clicks, and if it clicks for them in the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks, they may be unstoppable in September. So it's outstanding. Maybe it is. You always speak about, this is the loss that they had to have. Maybe it was for Port Adelaide to get blown away by a ramp at Brisbane at the time, but they're playing as good footy as anyone. They've got to take on the Dockers over there. They've wrapped up a top 4 spot. Again, it doesn't matter what's happened till this point of the year. If they lose both finals, then they're going to be calling for Ken's head still. So hopefully, for his sake and Port Adelaide, they can win on the weekend, finish top 2, win that first one, home prelim, win, and then go to Melbourne and hopefully get that silverware that they desire.
And Alastair, just a question for you. Tom mentioned earlier about a moment in time. It's not necessarily a big win or anything like that, but you certainly had that playing for Brisbane, which I think the week before, was it the week before the if it bleeds, we can kill it moment, you got belted by Carlton? Is that what happened?
Yeah, there was a game in between. We played the Crows. So we got belted by Carlton Princess Park in Melbourne and then came back and we had a shot from 80 metres out to win the game against the Crows, but lost that. And then it was the lead up to the Essendon game. That was the conversation around if it bleeds, we can kill it. And Lee said, I reckon Essendon can bleed. And it was, clarity around roles and the way we're going to go about it. And, that was sort of a reset. The loss against Carlton was one of those embarrassing losses where you had to look, and we actually looked and admired Carlton about the way they went about it, their role players and the way they set up their good players to get the ball. So we focused on that for the next couple of weeks and, 16-game winning streak turned things around for us.
And I think the point of that, I think Port Adelaide have made a few subtle changes without the wider AFL community. I'm probably going to open them up to it here, but Rosie's found himself forward a bit more. Horn Francis has found himself forward a bit more. They haven't gone that all-out attack through the midfield like they have in the past. They've got the balance really good now, I think, with Wine, Strew, Boak, and the pinch hitting at different times. Butters was outstanding, but it's not Butters, Horn Francis, Rosie in there and all-out attack. They've got the balance and playing their role and performing it really well. So I think they're right in that sweet spot.
Again, just one quick one. I know a bloke that's trying to set up a footy club. Who would you pick now off the wall? Rosie, Butters, Horn Francis?
I think Butters.
Yeah. 42 was pretty good, but Butters.
But his ability, toughness, he's so tough for a little fella and just competes. He sees the game so well, can be a match winner in the forward half of the ground, but also what he can do around the footy. His footy IQ is as good as anyone. His toughness and takes people along with him, comes from a good family, country Victorian. Like all three, you're not going to go wrong. Rosie's exceptional as well, but I think Butters consistently for a longer period of time is going to be the number one out of those three.
Yep.
Is this the best you've seen Port Adelaide play in recent years, Tom? You'd be a good judge of that.
Probably since the 2020 season.
Yeah.
I think that was the one that we got away from us. But I think it is the last few weeks since that Brisbane game. They've been exceptional and found different ways to win. So I think it's exciting times for them, and hopefully they can win it.
And are you planning on handing over the cup on grand final day? Is that the plan?
Should be. I should be there somewhere.
Yeah,
I would have thought.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's a great endorsement for the coach, though. As much as the coach was getting booed, and there's a faction that probably still don't like Kenny Hinkley.
Yeah.
But there's a great opportunity for the players just to leave him high and dry at that stage of the year. But they've obviously got a great connection with him.
Yeah, rallied around and performing really well. I know you guys have got topics to talk about, and I'm hogging the whole opening segment. But the story of the year for me, so this may be an unpopular opinion, but story of the year is Jesse Hogan for me.
Oh, yeah.
I think what he's been able to do, his footy journey, he's just in that sweet spot, happy. He's performing so well. He's got a Coleman medal around his neck now. I think he's
got an All-Australian. They've already measured him.
Yeah. He
absolute certainty.
Just early pick, went to Melbourne, didn't work out, went home to Fremantle, didn't work out, went over to Western Sydney, just sort of going. And then this year it's just come together for him. I think it's a story of the year and a really good feel-good story. And, I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, and he's one of those, you get to speak to players before and after games. He's one of those players you see before a game that's just loving life.
Yeah.
And sure, he's playing good footy, but you're just seeing the way he looks more relaxed, he's happier, he's comfortable with his environment, which obviously wasn't the case. And probably the strange thing, he was a 17-year-old, was the mini draft.
Yeah.
So he was actually, the mini draft pick came from GWS as well. So it's a big, complete circle, and he's found that great form.
Yeah, that's a great call on Jesse Hogan. And I think we'd probably, again, the classic cases, we'd probably notice it a bit more if he wasn't playing for the Orange team and playing for a higher profile club. But that's amazing. A bit of a stint off Broadway for someone can do. And he's proof of someone who's just living a life and loving his footy. And that's what you want for players like him, because he's shown his absolute potential. All right, we need to kick on and get on to the snapshot. Now, I should stress, Ryan is off sick this week. He's a late scratching. The flu has got the better of him. So, Tom, you and I are going to have to buckle up and get the last multi up for season 2024. During the home and away season, I should say.
Home and away season.
Home and away season. The finals, that's when we'll really bring it home. But let's do it. Snapshot time on Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions.
All the betting trends you need to know from the world of footy. This is the Snapshot.
Time, as always, for the snapshot. Poor old Ryan, the flu has got him, so I'm stepping in again this week. Tom, how we go? And also, we have a special guest. I think Alastair Lynch is just going to chime in and listen. Now, he can't give any tips and advice, but he's here.
He's still here.
He's still here.
We didn't kick him out this week, but last week we were diabolical, I think.
Yes.
I think I took Brisbane head-to-head. They lost, and I think Geelong head-to-head. They both looked home, both legs, and both fell over, and I think Ryan might have gone 1 from 2, did he?
Look, I'll have a look. We'll recap last week's multi in a bit, but I've had a few little insights about the top 8 betting, because I figured given that it's the final round of the home and away season, we should just have a look at some of the futures bets that we've had sent to us during the year. Now, Hawthorn, their run to the 8 has been magnificent, hasn't it?
Yeah, outstanding. Well, that was 0-5, and their finals, they should definitely play finals, North Melbourne this weekend. But wouldn't that be a big story if Alastair Clarkson stopped Sam Mitchell from playing finals? North Melbourne beat Hawthorn.
And that's this weekend in Launceston, I think.
Yeah.
Yes,
Launceston.
Yeah, Lonnie. Yeah.
The Tassie Cup, is that what you're now calling the Lynchy, the get the hell out of Tassie Cup?
No.
Okay.
Played a good, valuable role down there.
Okay. Just leave in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, the real team comes into town.
Yeah, very good. But I was curious to see, had anyone backed Hawthorn to make the 8 when they were struggling? And the Neds bookies have informed us we actually took $400 on the Hawks at 101 to make the top 8 in May when they were sitting at 3 wins and 15th on the ladder. So,
wow.
What time of the night was that?
I don't know, but I think someone may have had a copy of Gray's Sports Almanac with that kind of...
400 at 100 to 1.
Yeah, 400 at 100 to 1.
Jeez, that's nice.
Yeah, someone was
That's nice.
very happy team at Hawthorn for that man or woman who said punter.
They'll be watching that game with serious intent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, it's going to be a bit of a heartbreaker for some futures multis because what would you work out for Collingwood to make the 8? What's the sum there, Tom?
They've got to win by 15 goals. So they're 30 goals behind on percentage. So they've got to either win by 15 and have Carlton lose by 15.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way.
Now,
and Fremantle to lose.
Knowing Craig McRae, he's probably believing that this week. He's probably telling his boys that this can happen.
Well, anything's possible, but I'm going to say that's not possible.
And I know it was disappointing that Brisbane lost that match for their top 4 prospects, but Collingwood, I'm over Collingwood winning by 1 point as well. Like, that's just so 2023. Like, get over it, guys. Move on. You're not as good as you used to be.
How good's Dacos, though?
Oh, he's a freak.
Do you know when he was running through the middle, taking those bounces, you knew he was going to kick it.
Yeah.
You just knew he was going to kick it.
He sort of looked and said, as if you can catch me.
Superstar.
My word. Now, if you were to pick the current top 8 at the start of the season, I asked the bookies this. I said, what are the preseason odds? And let's have a look at this week's top 8. I don't think anyone had this top 8 predicted, especially with the likes of Hawthorn in the top 8. But if you were to pick it, you know how much it would have paid?
Oh, it'd have to be thousands, wouldn't it?
It would have been paying $92.82.
Really?
The current top 8. And if you were to pick the current top 4 at the start of the season, $56.90. So that's if the top 4 doesn't change and the teams stay the same from the preseason pricing, which we think the top 4 is pretty much a lock. That pays $56.90 if you don't mind.
That makes sense to a degree because you'd expect Collingwood to be there, but those 4 teams you would have nearly expected to play finals: Sydney, Port Adelaide Giants, and Geelong. So it's not that out there. The top 8 is for me. I thought the top 8 would be a bit rougher than that, but
the top 4 is full of the finals frequent flyers, as it were.
Yeah.
The teams that have been regulars in the finals for certainly the past decade. And of course, Brownlow betting. You mentioned Dacos. Geez, he's a freak. The biggest Brownlow bets we currently have on the book at Ned's is $5K for Nick Dacos at $3.50. We've got $2K on Dacos at $4.50. One poor punter had $2K on Isaac Heaney at $10. Sorry, mate. And someone's got $1K on Connor Rosie at $13 for the Brownlow medal.
Don't think Rosie will win it, but Dacos, Paddy Cripps will be there again. Did he get 3 again yesterday?
I would have.
He might be harder. He might be back to back. Lockie Neal will be there. Should be a good Brownlow count, actually.
No, I'm looking forward to. Yeah, well, the count itself is fun, but you've established that in previous conversations that the night itself is actually a horrible function.
Yeah, no, terrible. Hopefully, if you could push fast forward on it, it'd be ideal. Just do the votes and just keep moving.
Yes, indeed. Now, in terms of the premiership market, the Swans, of course, are the favourites at $4. Now, the Giants are $5 just behind them at premiership betting. Fremantle, the $41 outsiders. They were single-digit odds a few weeks ago, the Dockers. The Lions have drifted out to 7. The Magpies, well, they don't even bother with that. Geelong paying $9 to win the flag. Port, $7. It would have been good to get them after that a few weeks ago when they were booing Ken Hinkley. And and you can get a Bulldogs and Hawthorn at $11 outright to win the flag. So it's anyone's guess. Are we calling it Swans winning the flag? Or I don't think so.
I don't think anyone.
No.
It's still open. As we said in the first segment, I think there's still 10 teams that could potentially win it.
Indeed. All right, now let's have a crack at the multi, shall we, Tom?
Yep, let's go.
Now, let's recap last week's multi. Fremantle to cover at 11.5. Was that you or Ryan?
That was Ryan.
All right, so that's a tick. Brisbane Lions to beat Collingwood.
That was me.
No good
Cross.
there. Geelong to
That was me.
beat St Kilda.
Cross.
So if you were checking at halftime at both those games, you thought you were home there, weren't you?
Well, yeah, quarter time and half time with them, and it was all over.
Yeah, there you go. And Port Adelaide to beat the Crows in the showdown. That's a tick there. So
Ryan went 2 from 2 and I went 0 from 2.
I know. No luck. I'm on this week. Shall we have a crack? Let's just get this
Let's
done
have
for
a
round
crack.
24. We got nothing to lose. Well, we got plenty to lose, but you got to have a crack. Got to be in it to win it. Okay, I'll go with the first two legs, if you don't mind, Tom. Now, we're going to start Saturday night. We're going to forget about the junk time games. Basically, anything interesting happens from Saturday night this weekend, fixture-wise. Brisbane Lions to cover against Essendon, 35.5. I think the Lions will want to win and win big. Essendon are done and dusted for the year, and Brisbane, even though it's unlikely that they'll make top 4 unless something absolutely freakish happens down at Geelong.
Yep, like it.
They should get the job done there over the Bombers and get a home final. And then we get on to Sunday. I tell you what, for a game that's got some huge implications, GWS are great values and outsiders. $2.70 to beat the Western Bulldogs in Ballarat on Sunday. So I'm going to take Brisbane to cover at 35.5 and the GWS Giants outright head-to-head to beat the Bulldogs in an upset on Sunday.
Yes, I like both of them. I'm leaning towards St Kilda, their ability to get the job done against the Cats last week. I think Carlton coming back from Perth, still a few out for them. I'm going to take St Kilda head-to-head at $2.10. And then in the last game on Sunday night, afternoon, depending where you are around Australia, Port Adelaide head-to-head at $2.05. I think Fremantle's season will be over by that point. Oh, no, it'll still be alive.
No, it'll still be alive, very much alive.
Yeah, it'll be alive because St Kilda are going to win, and then Port Adelaide will win and keep Carlton in the finals.
So a lot of Carlton fans will be barracking for the multi to get up and to make the finals in that situation.
That's correct.
Yes, I love it. All right, so let's recap. So Brisbane, 35.5. Cover the line. Giants to beat the Bulldogs. St Kilda to beat Carlton. Fremantle to beat Port Adelaide. Combine that up, if you don't mind, $22.08.
A lot of juice on that.
Thank you, Richie Benno. You can catch that multi in, of course, the AFL section on the Neds app and in the open group chat. Sounds juicy.
Sounds juicy.
Shall we get on with the rest of the show?
Let's wrap it up.
And Lynchy, thanks for chiming in as well. It's good to have you here.
Not my segment.
You're listening to Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions.
This is AFL Unpopular Opinions here on Ned's. Dylan Leach, Tom Rockliff, Alastair Lynch has joined us. Short and sweet episode this week, so we're going to wrap this one up. But as always, it is the final home and away season for 2024. I feel like it's gone on forever, but I also feel like it's gone quick. We've gone from round 0 to round 24. Just a quick one. What are we looking forward to this week? As I say this every week. But before I go, no, this is what I actually need to say. I haven't said anything about Dustin Martin since he's announced his retirement on this show. And
We haven't got that long left.
no, I just want to say
What, he's going to the Suns?
he's not going to the Suns. He is not. Don't do that. Thanks for joining us, Ox. Good to have David Schwartz here. No. I think what a honour, privilege and joy it's been to have Dustin Martin in our lives as a footballer. He rejuvenated a great football club, and may he have the best retirement ever, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be right for the rest of his life. But thank you, Dusty, and he did it his way, and we're all eternally grateful. So,
Yes, well
and he has his
Well
farewell. He has a proper farewell this Saturday at the MCG prior to the Richmond Gold Coast Suns match. So
And we are recording on Monday. It's so Dustin style, though. We still don't know whether he's going to be in attendance, whether it's a lap of honour, what it's going to look like. So he's going to go the whole way his own way.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be disappointing if he did anything different.
Yeah.
he might even get a game.
He should announce a press conference 1:00 Friday. Just not front.
Sure.
Not front.
No, not 1:00 Friday. Do it at 5:30 on Friday. Do the old taking out the trash time, as they say in the media circles, when they make the bad news get released just before the Friday bulletin when everyone's gone home for the weekend.
Sam McClure front and centre. Just leave him high and dry.
Sam McClure.
Yeah, Sam. He's not. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. What are we looking forward to this weekend, boys?
I'll start. I'm looking forward to Ballarat. I think it sets the
Yes.
weekend up. The
good.
Giants and the Western Bulldogs game, that's got ramifications for top 4, but also top 8. Because if the Dogs somehow manage that, I would say it almost puts a line through Fremantle. You'd imagine Hawthorn get the job done against North, and Carlton and St Kilda. I know that goes to Sunday afternoon, but I'm looking forward to that one. Giants, Dogs in Ballarat, looking forward to an absolute ripper.
It should be a great Sunday in general. Are we expecting a nice cold Ballarat day like the game you played in a couple of years ago in your career?
Oh, that was the coldest game I've
Yeah.
ever played. I hope not. Not for AFL and footy fans' sake. Hopefully it's good conditions, but I can't see it being that way.
Yeah, it'll be a crispy one over in Ballarat. Lynchy, what are you looking forward to?
I think you're right. Sunday's a ripper.
Mm.
Bulldogs, Giants, then roll into Carlton, St Kilda. I mean, with Carlton's finals hopes well and truly on the line. So that'll be a good game. I'll be in attendance for the SCG match, the Sydney Swans. Do they put the queue in the rack? What do they do? They're still searching for their very best form against Adelaide Crows. They can't lose top spot, but you'd like to see them get back to their very best.
I think they'll have a crack because they get the week
Have
off
to.
the next week. I think they'll want to wrap up they've wrapped up the minor premiership, but you'd imagine they'll try and perform really well.
Question without notice. Do we need to do more for a team that wins the minor premiership? Because you get the same entitlements as the team that finishes second in the finals. Does the
paid or something?
McClellan there's a cash prize, and the McClellan Trophy I think was the minor premiership, although I think it's actually the team that gathers the most wins and losses in both AFL and AFLW
Yeah,
now.
it's a combined now.
But I don't know, maybe if you finish top of the ladder, do you just get home finals up until the grand final? Like even if you lose, do you actually get potentially 3 home finals, not 2 home finals? Do we need to do more if you finish on top?
No.
No?
No, because it's all about the premiership. You've got a good advantage. You're getting a week off. You're getting easy march to the prelim final.
Yeah.
You should be at home. So no, I think the way it's set up at the moment is pretty good.
Fair enough. Leave it at that.
Yeah, just leave it alone, dude.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Just putting
You
it
just
out.
want to change everything.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
I'm with you on the Sunday thing. Although, in the spirit of this program, Unpopular Opinions, I think Sunday would be even more wild if they were game enough to play all 3 of those games on at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
The EPL final day, where they have all the games on at the same time, is wild. Absolutely wild. And it would be some of the best viewing you would ever watch. Now, you'd have multiple screens, or you could have like you'd bring back the Around the Grounds, or the version, there's a show in the UK called Soccer Saturday where they go around the grounds and update the scores. But on the last day of the Premier League is absolute chaos. Aguero 2012, when Manchester City finally got their first of many titles now. That's some of the wildest sports I've ever seen. But could you just imagine if they did it? Just put it out there.
I would have loved it. In 2013, we played Geelong in Geelong. And we were the first game. We lost by a goal.
Yeah.
Would have put us in the finals, and then Carlton would have had to win to make the finals. Yeah, I think when they're close like that, to have the last round all kick off at the same time, 2 o'clock on Saturday or whatever it is.
There is an example from a long time ago, which was the final round of the 87 season, where Melbourne scraped into the finals. And I've seen replays of it because that was when all the games were on at the same time, and they got wind that Hawthorn had beaten Geelong at Geelong, and Melbourne needed to beat Footscray at Footscray, and it was happening at the same time. And if you ever watch the video, you can actually see the Melbourne fans going nuts as they've just found out that Hawthorn's kicked a goal and all that sort of stuff. It'll never happen, but geez, it'd be good.
Nah, it wouldn't happen with TV rights. We've got to pay our wages, don't we, Lynchy?
Well, that's right. And it used to be always good, though, in the 80s, because you'd always have the scores on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
They'd be changing the scores. It's not digital back in those days, I can assure you. So you had to work out who was A, who was B, who was Team C. And very interesting times, that's for sure.
It'll never...
I know we're jumping back a little bit.
That's okay.
But we'll talk about Melbourne, their victory over the Gold Coast, when the Gold Coast were just that far short of actually getting their best season in their club's history.
Winning season,
Oh, it was so disappointing to be down there for that. We were both there for that game. That was deflating.
They were diabolical.
What did they finish? They're 14th on the ladder this week.
Yep,
14th.
14th. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a disappointing one.
Disappointing result for them. Melbourne, far too good.
Far too good. And Viney, who is just Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like, he just... And I think,
tell you what, though, he wasn't convincing when you said, will he be there next year?
Oh, no, he wasn't at all. And I wasn't going to ask him there. For most of it, I was thinking I'm not going to ask him, but he sort of gave me a bit of an opening, and I always thought it was an opportunity just to smack it out of the park.
Yeah.
Because he said how, great culture there or something along those lines. But, and I think when we've talked about does Boak or Parker go to another club and that sort of stuff, you think, well, they're at the end of their careers. But this man is so Melbourne. Yeah. And what he did on the weekend was just so typical of what he does. And that's why he would be attractive to any other club. But, geez, he put on a display on the weekend.
He was outstanding.
We will touch on the Ds next week, I think, because I think the Christian Petrarca story might be getting a bit more legs as we speak. And I don't think it's going to go away over the next couple of months. So we will touch on that. Time to wrap up on Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions. Tom? What's the multi this week?
Multi, Brisbane Lions minus 35.5 against Essendon. GWS head-to-head to beat the Dogs. St Kilda head-to-head to beat Carlton. And Port Adelaide head-to-head. Multi that all up. Pretty much all outsiders. $22.08.
Wouldn't that be a nice way to finish off the home and away season?
Oh, massive.
Magnificent. Thank you, Tom.
It'd be staggering.
Good on you, Dill.
Thank you, Lynchy.
Well done, Dill. Enjoy Perth on the way back from Paris.
It'll be nice to see you lovely blokes in person next week from our new studios as well, so that's exciting. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening to Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions. Enjoyed the podcasts? Remember to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.